devotion they have learned. Mystery, is it truth or just a game wrapped up in a false name? Subscribers lost in digital maze, drowning in a foggy haze. See the leader twist and turn, blind devotion they have learned. With silver tongue, tales so wild the web is spun. Followers drink that sweet Kool-Aid, in the chat they fight and raid. Is it Amy? Is it Maggie? Whispered lies, they sound so catchy. Money flows like river wild, brainwashed voices all beguiled. Animal cults dancing in the night, lost in stories shining bright. Mystery leader slow so thin, who's the one that holds the sin? Kool-Aid mixed with liquor's glow, followers entangled woe. Every story holds no truth, fighting for her glance aloof. Will they rise? Will they see? Break the spell of mystery. Is it truth or just a game wrapped up in a false name? Subscribers lost in digital maze, drowning in a foggy haze. See the leader twist and turn, blind devotion they have learned. Kool-Aid mixed with liquor's glow, followers entangled woe. Every story holds no truth, fighting for headlines aloof. Will they rise? Will they see? Break the spell of mystery. Is it truth or just a game wrapped up in a false name? Subscribers lost in digital maze, drowning in a foggy haze. See the leader twist and turn, blind devotion they have learned.
Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Coburger Wednesday, what up? Hi, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Let me get this off my screen so I could see you. Hello, Lainey. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. How's everybody's Wednesday? Wednesday, and the Australians will be waking up to their Thursday. I hope everybody's having a good day. I'm trying to clean my glasses. Okay. Can y'all do me a favor and hit the like? I'll wait. Hold on. I'm going to wait right here just a minute. Let me know when your thumbs up have all been hit. Because I know, y'all, I jump into people's I see them and I'm like, let me jump. And I jump and I don't think about hitting the like until I'm told. So I'm just as guilty. So I'll wait. Nothing's going on here but me cleaning my glasses. I need new glasses. They called, I guess I had made an appointment last year when I got my new glasses. And they called me like the day before and they were like, you have your appointment tomorrow to get glasses. You don't even go to that shit. Because it's like 45 minutes to my eye doctor, and they have to give me a bigger heads up than that so I could worry about it first. Gosh. You can't spring shit on me. I gotta worry over it. I gotta figure things out in my head. Don't spring stuff on me. Can't handle it. All right. I trust everybody has hit that like, and thank you so much. TLC is at work listening. Hello, love bug. Hello. Thank you for listening. And I hope your day goes by really, really fast. It's almost over, actually, I think. Miss Barbara loves Coburger Wednesday. I love it too. I'm obsessed. Lunch lady, thank you for throwing the copyright up and the trigger warning, Lizzo. Thank you so much for being here, Wild Angel. I know I was actually on time today. I was on time. Yippee! Good for me. It doesn't happen very often, you guys. So when it does, get excited. Beautiful detective. Well, it beat Sherlock Holmes from what I hear. Lenny, I showed myself dancing in Vegas. Your turn. I have danced on a live before when I was high, and I mean I never even looked at that live. I don't look at my lives unless I have to go back and find something. But I'm scared to know what it looked like and what all Beefcake got. I don't know. And also, you just have to know where to find me. I've cammed up before, people, but I'm not putting it out there where I've cammed up. But listen, I asked the moderators to drop links almost every time I'm live, if I remember, and they do. And all I can tell everybody is this: I would sub to my friends. If it was me, I would sub to them, and I have. Because you never know what you're going to get on their channel that you're not going to get here. So, all I'm saying is, there's been a couple times I've cammed up. I'm dying from allergies. What even is this getting colder business about? It's cold here too. I've got my jacket on. Cold. I've never had allergies before. Oh, really? Oh, I get them in the spring and the fall, but funny, they haven't even started yet. They haven't started this year yet, which is amazing. Hi, Aussie True Crime. Good to see you. Aussie's getting listening while getting ready for class. You go ahead, girl. Do your thing. Do your thing. Just wanted to give a shout out one more time to our sweet Maggie, who is celebrating at, let's see, it's 5 hours ahead of us, so it's 9:30, no, 8:40 there in the UK. So I hope she has had the most loveliest day. I have heard from her a little bit here and there, and she's a busy lady. It's nice to be loved. And also a shout out to our sweet Anne. I thought about her so much. today, knowing her baby chow came home today. Oh, I get chill bumps when I think about her seeing her baby for the first time in 2 years. I can't stand it. So I cannot wait. Oh, it's 7:40 there. I forgot about the time change. Thank you, Lizzo. Um, I can't wait to hear about her seeing him, you know, for the first time in 2 years. Oh, my mama heart. Can can't you guys just feel that? Yeah, Lizzo, her Anne, yeah, Anne's place. Her baby child is coming home for the first time in 2 years today, and I just had her on my mind, and so good. Lindley, hey girl, hey. Um, I just can't imagine. The closest I have to that is my son going off into the military, and I know what it. Luckily for me, he surprised me every time he came home, so I never had that whole wait period. I never knew when he was coming home. Uh, and oh man, that's just good stuff. It's just good stuff. So shout out to Anne, and we love you, and I pray she's just over the moon. Over her baby's sleeping underneath the same roof she sleep. Oh, so good, so good. All right, let's get involved in this, guys. Let's go, let's go. Lizzo, I'm gonna. Anybody see? Wait a minute. Where is Badass? Lunchy? Lunchy, that is your one of your jobs. To if Badass isn't here to let us know what's going on. Is she all right? Everything okay with Badass? Usually she's here every Coburger Wednesday. You can't wrangle her. Oh, she being wild out there. I have to agree. She is a maniac. She's in good company, though. No offense. Anyways, hopefully she comes in soon. What I want to do is drop the link. Lizzo, if you want to come up, I would love to have you up here with me. No pressure, no pressure, Lizzo. But if you do want to come up, I would like to drop the link and have some conversation with you. Okay, here's the deal. So, her big head hurts. Oh, bless her. I'm telling you, Badass has got, she's got some back problems like the rest of us, and it's in her neck, and it really gives her severe headaches, you guys, like for days and days and days headaches. And it's terrible. It's terrible. Um, so y'all remember her in your prayers. It's terrible. Um, so let me give you a little bit of what's went on this week. So this week it's been a big week. It's been a big week uh for me, and there's a couple people that I really, really trust with things in my life, and I know it won't go any further. And so I'm completely blessed to have those women um, that kick my butt and that, set me straight when I need set straight and love me a little more when I need a little more love. And there was one that I talked to. Um, Lizzo, hello, my friend.
Hello.
So happy you came up here with me. I'm gonna use your brain for just a
Oh,
little bit, if that's okay.
okay.
So I did talk to one of those women, and she was like, and I told her, I said, this Coburger thing is just I'm drowning in it. I'm drowning. And she said, take a break. She said, don't even look at it no more. Quit trying to figure it out. Quit, just take a break. And she was right. So about for 3 days, I just didn't look at anything. I didn't research anything. But of course I can't get it off my mind. but I didn't do. I
You
can't
were
stop.
having a break for 3 days and I was bombarding you.
No, I waited. No, I waited to open it, but I will tell you this, like Lizzo has really jumped into this case and I appreciate that because I know your and Beth's backstory into true crime. And it's not just YouTube true crime. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real life shit you guys do.
Yeah.
So coming from like the things that you tell me that I don't think about, um, and I'm blessed to have quite a few of those people around me, but like when something comes from you, I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? Because I mean, a lot of people just do this stuff here like this, but they're not like really breaking into cases and the things that you have and Beth have gotten into. So I just want to tell you that a lot of the things that you sent me when I got off that break because I couldn't stand it anymore, I had to get back in. And the things you said to me, I was like, wait just a second. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So have you talked to Beth about this at all? Is she following?
She hasn't followed this one, no.
Oh, I think this one, she would just eat it up, don't you?
She'd be good at this one, yeah.
Yeah. There's so many twists and turns. What I want to ask everybody in chat and you, I think I already know your answer. I'm sure a lot of you have watched different stuff on the 911 call and watched other people deep dive it and stuff. Since last week, I want to know, have any of you changed your mind on what you think you hear in that call? From the first night we pulled it all up, and it took me a minute to pull it up. You guys were all sending me it, it was terrible. And then we kind of deciphered it, and then we would hear the scream, and we would hear Xana and Ethan. We kind of got that figured out. But do you think there's others? Have you changed your mind on anything you're hearing, Lizzo?
I'm trying to think now because I did send you what I thought was on there.
Are you on your phone? Because I can pull it up. I'm not on my phone if you want me to.
I'm on my phone, yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to pull up some of the things that you were sending me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh my God. And I'm telling y'all, Lizzo has been in my ear and given me a lot to research. And um
Because I've gone so far back and looking things, and now I'm really confused as to whether I actually believe he did it or not. That's how far
mhm.
it's not making sense to me.
Yeah, and see for me, like I stayed with it the whole time. So it does make sense to me. So a lot of questions I had in the beginning, like, what the hell? That
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. And someone's lying. And all of those scenarios that I came up with in my head as time has gone on, and then things have been released, and then more court, filings and motions and things like that. I it's starting to get really, really clear. But one of the questions I had for you that I was thinking about when I was looking at all the stuff you were sending me, I asked you in Messenger if you thought that we didn't get the whole 911.
No, I don't think we have.
I don't think we have either. Something's missing. Something's
There's
wrong.
gaps, definite gaps in it.
Yeah. And I mean, chat, I don't know if you guys agree with that. I don't know if you guys have really just listened to it over and over again but I think there's gaps in it. Remember when we first read the transcript came out of the text messaging first, and we were just like, y'all, there's all kind of shit missing here because none of this is making sense.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm starting to feel towards the 911 call.
Yeah, I think they've released just enough, but not all of it.
Did anybody know? I mean, I know that Drunk Turkey says that he did a FOIA where he one of his uh, subscribers or somebody close to him had actually petitioned the court to get it. and that's how he got it. But does anybody know how the local media got it? Did they do the same thing, do you guys think, or did somebody leak it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Because if it was leaked, I tend to believe that a little bit more. Because you know what I mean? If it's leaked, they're going to put everything out because it's
Yeah,
sensational. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But if we really got it, if this is what we got from the courts, there's a big chance
yeah.
that we do have. I just feel like stuff is missing in it.
I do. I think there's definite gaps.
And I know it's a 4-minute call, but I mean, hell, sometimes you're on the phone with, I mean, because she didn't even say she sent the police and the ambulance out. The operator didn't say that until the end. Because
No,
I kept thinking to myself, what the hell are you waiting on? Just send them, ask questions later.
it don't make what don't make any sense is an operator would not normally go straight from somebody being passed out to can you get a defibrillator? That makes no sense at all. Normally they would ask them to start CPR. That were never mentioned. So I don't know. At some point, was she? How did she become aware this operator that the person wasn't passed
Needed
out? You know that they were
that she
probably
needed a defibrillator. Yes. And
yeah,
then also, Lunch Lady said she thinks that the breathing heavy part sounds out of place.
yeah,
And then Lindley says 100% things are missing in her opinion.
yeah,
And you're right. When you were telling me that, like, how did we get why would she say defibrillator right away? That
yeah.
doesn't mean that somebody's in
That's not.
cardiac arrest.
Yeah, you would do that if you thought somebody was in arrest. You know, if there's the
Mhm.
shockable rhythm and all that. But why would that be your first port of call? It's never your first port of call. It's normally start CPR.
Mhm. Right. Exactly. So when you were telling me this, and I started trying to put it in my brain, I was like, "Oh my god, there's got to be stuff missing out of this 911.
Yeah,
There's got to be." It's the only thing that makes sense.
yeah,
Hmm. Well, I
definitely.
pulled up a couple things. I don't know what all you guys have seen on this. If you've been paying attention to other stuff, the only reason I went to the Drunk Turkey show is because y'all. After we got, can I tell y'all something? You know when Beefcake come on, so I'm sitting here and I'm closing everything down, and I hear this. I hear a song playing, and I'm like, "That's a YouTube song." So I got up and I walked into his office in there. I'm like, "The hell are you watching?" He's like, "I need to hear the 911 again." So he ended up on the Drunk Turkey show, and he's like, "This guy is saying this." I said, "I don't give a all of us are saying something different. It just is what it is." And I said, "I could repeat something to you 3 times. You're probably gonna hear the same thing I'm repeating to you."
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if I told you that you said, "There's milk in the refrigerator," you're gonna probably start hearing there's milk in the refrigerator. Because at first I was like, "Isn't he saying Kaylee?" And we all thought that the guy was whispering something about Kaylee, and then somebody heard him say, and even Beefcake thought he heard, um, they killed Ethan. And then after he listened to it this after we were all off, he said, he's saying, he killed them. And then after that, he's like, "No, I hear Kaylee." And I'm like, "For the love of God." You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
especially when it's like a whisper or a background noise, I think it's we could be talked into something.
yeah.
Lindley says, "I really like the Drunk Turkey show. Lots of good info." Well, I went there because I knew he was listening to it. And he was like, "You have to listen to it." Because, he says, Drunk Turkey says that he hears Kaylee, like something Kaylee, and then fuck. And then And so I listened, and then I could hear that, I guess, and then I couldn't hear it. I don't know. I'm so confused. Um, and and then I wanted to find out from him exactly where the 911 came from because I thought if it was leaked, they're leaking the whole thing. They're not gonna, they want it to be as sensationalized as possible. But
Mm,
if it really was gotten the right way, then the courts had to take shit out of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Lunch Lady said she hears somebody killed Ethan. I don't hear Kaylee at all. I've listened to that over and over and still don't hear it. I could see Ethan being interchangeable. Them and Ethan. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't now.
Sure,
I
I
will
heard
say
both. To be honest, I'm sure I heard them mention both. Could have sworn I
now,
heard.
do you think and does anybody in chat, do you guys believe before the 911 call just on what we're hearing? Because I think we're pretty all on the same page that something's missing. From what we hear, does it sound like they went upstairs?
Yeah. To me, it sounds, because from what I'm getting is that Dylan spent the night obviously in Bethany's room, but she did go up onto the upper floor, and she'd been up there. Then she called all the friends. They came because the phone call was made from Dylan's phone from inside the house. So for them to know that she was passed out, they'd already been up. Which means they have to have opened the door to know that she was passed. This is what doesn't make sense, because she was saying she was getting no response, but no response to what? Are we saying no response to shouting through the door?
Mm.
No response to shaking them? What, she's not
Why
clear.
would you shake a bloody person though?
Yeah, she's not clear on what this no response business was.
Mm. Hello, Ann's Place. We were talking about you earlier. Prayerfully, you just had a wonderful homecoming for your son. I'm so excited. I've been so excited for you. Lindley says Drunk Turkey said he confirmed with the family that Ethan was found on the bed. Now, I do know that's true. Drunk Turkey does talk to the Goncalves family, so I know that. I think everything, now this is just me as well. I think with what we're hearing just on the 911, I don't think they went upstairs. I just, at least not during the 911 is what I'm saying. But I just don't understand if, in fact, Dylan did go upstairs and then start texting people that she didn't have a response. It's, and please, I am not trying to victim shame at all. I was not there. I'm not that age. She doesn't have the same brain I have. And so my question, but I don't think it's wrong to question. That
No,
doesn't mean I'm victim shaming, right? If I'm questioning,
no.
right?
I have a lot of questions, about what went on, and I'm not blaming them or saying
Yeah.
anything, because yeah, they're going to be traumatized, but there are questions without a doubt.
But that's not us victim shaming them, right?
No,
Because I
no,
don't want to do, okay. I don't want to be, I don't want to go down that route at all because I do believe these girls, oh, I just can't imagine. Drunk or not drunk, could you imagine living your rest of your life? I just don't know. But I do I just I'm hoping that when it comes out in court or when other stuff is released, because I really do think more stuff's going to get released, that it just starts to make sense. Because I even heard Duty Ron say, and everybody's being really good about the victims. They're like, we don't know, and these are young people, blah blah blah. And even he said that he thinks Dylan went to sleep. And for me, if you're that scared, there's no way I could sleep.
there's no way you'd be sleeping.
But what if you are so inebriated? But we see the text messages and I mean, she's not even really making it. Maggie put the text messages together in this force, and I want you guys to look. I'm gonna put it on screen. There's not even any mistakes in it. Now, if you're that high and that drunk or that high, whichever one, are you going to be able to do these kind of text messages without any real
No.
You know what I mean? Like the only word that's messed up is um in the line that she says, like he had something, but she's only missing two letters over his forehead because she separated forehead, and some kids do that, and a little around his mouth. But that the ND could be just the way that they make everything smaller, like really is RLLY. They don't spell out the whole thing. So if you're drunk or high, now I've been drunk or high and I'm just like, I'm sorry, you guys, I can't type, you know. I mean, I've been drunk and not been able to type. So if you're that drunk or high, it wouldn't come out like that, right? It would be just, we'd be like, what the hell is she saying?
Yeah. I mean,
So,
she can type fine, so she wasn't that inebriated.
so tell, how come and again, I am not in any way, I just have questions. Like, I am always going to be like, how do you go 8 hours? Who else did you call? Who else did you text? And if you did go to sleep, how did that happen? I just
Yeah.
don't see them going to sleep if they were that terrified and then wake up and say, oh my God, it's not a dream. And then why would you even run out of the house at that point? The house is still, it's quiet. And
But
I
you
don't
see, this,
know.
like, this is what I don't understand is there would have been a lot of noise, a lot of noise. I cannot imagine that somebody would go in and start uh, attacking people, and that what you're telling me there was no screaming, no noise,
Right.
nothing. I cannot imagine that it was a silent carry on. You know that he managed to do four people, and she heard nothing except for those little things that she's saying, like she thought she heard Kaylee come down the stairs, and then she thought she heard somebody say, "Someone's here," or whatever. But you telling me that that's all she heard? Because there's no way on earth that there wouldn't be noise. There'd have been a lot more, and I'm pretty sure Bethany would have heard
Mm.
because she was underneath, wasn't she? Underneath
She was
uh,
underneath Dylan.
Dylan's. Yeah, so I can't believe that they didn't hear anything. And then, she's like, oh, well, she was in frozen shock, but shock with what? Because she said, according to her, she didn't see anything or hear anything.
Mm.
So, and yet she was still managing to text all the other housemates. She was texting them, asking them what were going on,
Hmm.
texting Bethany, but yet, so why didn't she then text friends and call the friends over at that time? These are college students. You're not telling me some of them would have been up.
Oh,
So
sure.
text some of your friends. Get them. Why didn't you text them to come over at 4? Then do it then. Why wait till 8 hours later or whatever? Well, it was
Right.
because we know that she texted them about 9.
Lindley says, I think Dylan and Bethany talked themselves down from something that was wrong. Hello, Sean. Aloha. Thank you for coming in. And then Lunch Lady said, I mean, I think someone would be screaming something awful. And I could go with Lindley about that they were able to talk themselves down. Well, then what made them? Let's just say they talked themselves down. Like we're just overreacting, we're drunk, we're whatever. You know what I mean? We had a good time. It's not everybody's passed out, no big deal. And so they were able to sleep. So let's just go down that road. They were able to sleep. Why would they wake up in a panic again then? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Unless they went and saw something and then been like, holy shit, it did happen. But I'm like you. We know that we know that that cam next door on the right side in the front building is the cam that they have that heard the dog barking and heard the thunk. Now, if you can hear a thunk from that far away that they say that comes from the house,
then why did it not pick up screaming
screaming,
and
high pitched, scary
because
ass.
we know that at least one of them put up a fight.
Right. Well,
So there
we've been
had to have
told that
been,
we know at least two because we've been told
yeah,
Xana did and we've been told that Kaylee did.
yeah,
Now, and then you also sent me the Linda Lane footage.
yeah.
and I keep saying this, but I Swanee, the next time we do it, we are going over that Linda Lane footage. I need just to figure out where I can get some good footage with some real understanding of it, because we all know if I use certain creators' footage, it don't matter how nice to them and how much super chat I send them, you guys, they're gonna strike me. It's just the way it is. And that's okay. I do want to thank you guys. I did go over and thank Plunder for the use of her video for last week, and I did super chat her from all of us at According to Leanie and thanked her for her research on this. So but it doesn't matter how much money I give to certain creators, you know, they don't need our money. They're huge, they make plenty, they don't need us. But anyways, so we've got to figure that out. But it's like you said, you know, we've got the Linda Lane footage, and supposedly it picks up people arguing. Now, I had heard in the beginning when that was leaked. We know that was leaked. That was not put out by either side. It was leaked. Um, and supposedly I had heard it had been messed with and stuff like that. They actually put people walking in it and stuff. And when it starts getting like that and people are arguing over that, that's when I quit watching stuff like that. Because if I can't verify it, then I struggle. I'm not going to let my brain attach to it and try to figure it out. So, but if it is a true, accurate version of the Linda Lane footage, where you see the car going around 3 times.
You hear a woman screaming, you hear a dog
Yes,
barking.
yes, and then don't you hear, like these 2 people talking or something in it?
Yeah, you do, yeah, arguing. It's
Yeah,
you definitely hear a man and a woman.
and when the dog was barking and then when that woman screams, that white car was still going around.
Yeah.
So, and we believe that white car to be if you believe the white car, which I do, to be Coburger, then the scream you're hearing is not coming from the house, or it means that Coburger isn't the killer. Now, I'm just gonna say straight up that I firmly believe that Coburger is the killer and and the soul killer. I really do. But I respect your right to feel differently. I really
It would
do.
also mean then that it was a different time frame, which would have allowed him longer because that disturbance started, was it between 2 and 3 morning?
Mm, mm. Lindley says maybe they tried to open Xana's door and was unable to get a response, and the door may have been locked, right? Or blocked, and it concerned them. I mean, yeah, I appreciate you guys throwing stuff out there because none of us really know. We just, it, and I know, I really do believe once we go to trial, everything's going to make sense. We're going to be like, okay, we got you, girl. We got you. You know, yeah, okay, okay,
But
okay.
then
We
let
got,
me put something else out there then, just in around that thought that Linley put out about maybe they tried to open the door. My next point is then it would have been a bloodbath. I don't mean to be gruesome, but
mm,
he's been up on the 3rd floor and killed 2 people up there
mm-hmm.
in not a nice way. So there has to have been a blood trail. There has to have been. He couldn't have come out of that bedroom and it being entirely clean, walking down the stairs, then into what you call them, Xana and Ethan's room,
Mhm, mhm,
doing the same to them and it being a physical fight, and then walking back out of there, and there's no blood trail anywhere.
that we know of, though, that I do believe there's blood. I do, because remember, they're not gonna put everything in the PCA. Having a blood trail is not gonna get Brian Koberger arrested.
No,
They
but
ha
if there is a blood trail, that means they had to have seen the blood trail.
Mhm, but you know
The other
what?
house.
Oh, that's true,
That's my
yes,
point.
yes,
Dylan, if they
at
went up,
least
had to
Dylan
have
would have
seen
had to
that.
see it, right, and wondered why the blood was going up there, or
Yeah.
say, go
Well,
check on
that would
Kaylee."
alarm me. I'd have been screaming and out of that house and
Mhm.
straight on phone to police if I saw a blood trail.
Sean says real men don't abuse, disrespect, or sorry, or walk away from the responsibility of women they love. Men who do negatively towards women are not real men. And I think every one of us women will agree with that.
Yeah.
Aussie True Crime. Oh my God, I just came downstairs. Somebody tried to break in our cars last night and stole my bin. Who steals a bin? It was Maggie. Aussie True Crime. It was Maggie. She's got all kind of problems with bins, so I hear. No, I'm glad they didn't get into your car. I've had that happen to me before. But at least all they got was your bin. But it's Mags. Blame her. She's got bin problems. I know you guys live far away, but I don't trust a lady that's got bin problems. But I'm glad you guys did not they didn't get anything else. So let me bring this up because I also went searching and to see about if any of the families had come out in reaction. And of course, I knew the Gonsalveses would. I knew that. I was hoping some of the other ones would, but let me just bring this up really quick. All right, let's look at this one. This one is this one. All right, let me make sure that we can see that. You guys can see that, right? Okay. Now let me go back over here. This is Brian Inton and Ashley Banfield on News Nation. You guys, this is not my work. This is Copyright Act of 1976 gives fair use for this to be used for criticism, comment, teaching, reporting, scholarship, and the like. So don't come at us, YouTube. We're just, we're just sleuths ourselves. Somebody could drop it in chat. That would be lovely. All right, here we go. You guys listen to this. Y'all, I love me some Brian Inton. Don't you guys love him? Look at that little face. His beautiful brown eyes. I love him. All right, let's go.
I'm joined now by Steve Gonsalves. He lost his daughter, Kaylee, that tragic morning. Steve, I know that mercifully that the authorities gave you that tape before the rest of us. You've had some time. But beyond that, I don't know how, after 2.5 years of gag order, this landed with you. I don't know if this was more painful, more elucidating, a bitter pill. Tell me how you're coping with this at this point.
I'm a father, so it's not, my emotions are really my children and my wife. So I would say that they feel like they're slowly drowning, and I'm the guy that's trying to help them stay from drowning. And these slow leaks, this torturous process that we're going through, they've done a better job. They've responded to our feedback. We have said, hey, the 911 call is not something that we want to turn on TV and actually see. So they have responded. They have done a better job of, this is a community that doesn't know what murder is. They don't have any clue how to handle, public relations. It just doesn't really exist. So we're getting through it together, and it's hard to say it's getting better, but they are communicating, and we're trying to protect our children and protect all the families and protect the survivors.
Let me stop it right there. What he's mainly, what he was getting to when he was saying they're doing a better job at communication. So we know that the text messages came out first, right? You guys, the families did not know that those were going to come out, that the courts were going to release those. So imagine being a parent or a sister or a brother or an aunt or a grandparent of one of these precious victims, and finding out from somebody who saw it on YouTube, or somebody saw it on the news, or you happen to turn on the news and see the text messages between, you know what I mean? I mean, it's terrible. So their lawyer got involved and got in touch with the courts and said, look, if you're going to release anything, please give it to the families first. Let them get through don't side don't slap them in the face with it, because basically that's what it is. I mean, these were their children's lives, and it's just being thrown on the internet and the TV. So I can understand. All right, let's finish this up.
To make sure that we don't have these trolls that are attacking them for no reason.
Did you get any clarity? Did you learn anything or any epiphanies when you listened to the call?
Yes. I mean, I always wanted it to make more sense. Like any murder, your brain wants to gravitate towards how make this make sense, make this make sense. But the truth is, murder never makes sense. This is a psychopathic person who does something that breaks the norm of all of our consciousness. All of our minds are just struggling with the fact that this has happened. So we can logically try to make it make sense, but it's not really going to make sense. It's not Hollywood where they try to make it all fit together. In real life, you're just sitting there dumbfounded, like, why can somebody be killed in their bedroom? How does that make sense?
You mentioned in a statement today that you think Hunter Johnson protected those girls. I mean, listen, I don't know what happened, but I'm trying to piece this together like a puzzle, and it sure feels like he knew something and he protected Bethany from knowing. Do you think that he went up to the third floor and may have seen what happened to Kaylee and Maddie and therefore said, get out, get out, get out, but did not tell Bethany and did not tell Dylan?
I talked to Hunter directly, and it sucks. He had a broken soul. This is a man who's seen his best friend dead, like dying, like gone. So we exchanged a moment, and I talked to him, and he was trying to protect everyone in that house to not go through what was overwhelming him at the moment. So I don't know about the details of upstairs, downstairs, door open, door not. But in the bigger picture, does it really matter? He was literally just responding to what he probably thought was a prank, thinking his friend, his best buddy, had these girls rolling. And he showed up there, and he seen the opposite of a prank. And I seen it in his eyes. He was broken. He was very broken from what he had seen.
Well, did Hunter tell you that he was able to open the door to Xana's room and witness Xana and Ethan in there?
He told me that he went to the door, and he was trying to go through that door, and he was trying to figure out what was going on in there. It's kind of like what you're hearing with that audio. He announced himself. He said, "Hey, I'm here. What's going on?" But they didn't respond, and he went in there. He seen something, and I think around 2:15, you hear when somebody truly sees something.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find news.
Wow. So now we have a little bit more clarity of the 911 call. Oh, really, Lindley? Oh, well, we'll try to continue this as long. Thank God Lindley is in my state. We're not too far apart. Me, her, and Diamond Lucidity are not far apart that I know of at all. So thank you for the heads up for that. If something happens, I've got my phone right here too, in case somebody calls me and says it. Thank you for that, Lindley. I think we've got some kind of clarity. Hi, Joyce. A little bit over that. I could see Steve, because when you're on panel, we kind of all kind of tiptoe through certain things, right? You get asked a question, or you start to talk about something, and you could literally hear the tiptoeing and the way you're going to say it, because first, you don't want to be offensive to somebody, and second, you don't know how much information you should give and things like that. You could definitely hear that in Steve's voice when he was asked about Hunter Johnson,
Yeah.
which they call him Hunter Jack, or they usually just call him Jack. But I like how he tiptoed around. I'm not sure if the upstairs or downstairs thing. I think he does know, but remember there is a gag order in place, and he doesn't know what all he's allowed to say. I mean, he's been totally, the police have totally reamed him and said, "Shut the hell up, because you are gonna mess up this case. So just shut up," you know. And he didn't really answer the question as to, did he have trouble getting in the door, that they, you know what I mean? He didn't really answer that question. What says you, Lizzo?
Yeah, he did say that you could hear him talking through the door, saying that he was there, announcing himself, and then he did get in and see them. At which point that's when he told them to get out.
Right.
So,
Hi, Digital Maniac. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Lindley says maybe mentally Hunter was struggling to get in the room instead of the door being blocked. Maybe. But we did go over two different scenarios when we first heard it. My first scenario was that I believe Hunter went in there first and had already gotten himself into the room, and then before anybody else had come in. And then we realized, after we really dissected the 911, that actually we do hear him call Ethan and Xana and say, "I'm here, it's me," or whatever. And yes, Lunch Lady says, according to Leanie, is it definite that both the hunters were there? Yes, and if you go back to some of the earlier, well, there hasn't been a whole lot of interviews given by Ethan's mom, but the one thing she did say, and if you look at the parking lot when it was cordoned off, when they had the police tape around it, Hunter, the brother Hunter, the black Jeep parked behind the red Jeep. The red Jeep belonged to Ethan. The black one parked behind him was his brother's. So yes, he was definitely there. And remember, I did play it last week. His mom and his dad, when they were given an interview, said that their kids are the ones that called them and said that he was dead. So
have
yes,
you seen the because they've given a few interviews, and I find their behaviour really odd. Ethan's parents.
well, I didn't. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you brought it up, because I try to be so careful with how I talk about people, and I don't want I don't want I don't want to offend anybody. But here's what bothered me. The very first, and I showed you guys the very first interview they did. We went over that last week, where they were sitting up there and she asked, the kids were in the background. She's like, "Do y'all have anything you want to say?" Whatever. And then we heard from them again at Ethan's memorial. And then we heard from her again. There's been like five or six times that you hear her talking. And it's always bothered me. One of the times when somebody asked her, will you guys go to
Xana.
the court, go to court? And she was adamant. She said, "No, none of us will be in court." She said, "Because it doesn't change the outcome. Our child is not coming back." And at first, when I heard her say that, I couldn't understand it as a mom, because I want to know every detail, and I'm going for blood, and I'm going to make sure there's blood.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I thought, and I could be wrong, and God forgive me if I am. I see a mother who is, I call her the mama bear of her family, but I almost feel like it's a controlling, because I wondered if she asked her children, "Do you guys want to go to court?" Or did she say, "We're not going to court"? Because I think it was the second interview she gave, she said that she told her kids when she went and picked them up, and they went to the police department and gave their statements and all that, and they left and they went up to their summer cabin. that she turned around and looked at both of them in the back seat, and she said, "I don't know what the hell went on back there, but it's not gonna define us, and we're gonna get through it." Now, I think she's just a strong woman. Does that say that she doesn't hurt? No. I mean, all of us can be strong at different times. Doesn't mean that we don't feel. Ethan was just as much her child as the other two, but I just wondered the way she said that. I was like, please tell me that you are allowing the triplets, the two that's left, to make their own decision on whether they want to go or not, because they all have different brains. Maybe one wants to go and the other one's going negative. I'm not going. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Grown enough.
I did a search on all their interviews that I could find that they've done, and it's really odd behaviour.
Tell me in what
Um,
way? Do you get that
uh,
same sense of like some kind of control?
yeah, definitely. If you'll notice, there's a progression, but in the first interview they did as a family, obviously we didn't see the kids; they weren't on screen. It was
Uh-huh.
just mum and dad. Dad didn't say anything; he just
Oh, it
sat.
was so
And she-
broken.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I don't know if it was the first anniversary or the second. Um, it was the one where they're both the. I think they're all there again. But obviously the kids don't speak. It's just mum and dad, and it's the one where they're sat in front of the tulip fields, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, and she's talking about the charity they've set up, the Ethan Smile charity, and it's kind of I found it a bit sickening, the way they were gushing, the pair of them, mum and dad, um, like they were trying to portray themselves as happy, which I just find that really odd anyway. And they were asked a question uh, about Ethan being, so in love with Zana, and there was this really uncomfortable pause.
Really?
It was very uncomfortable, and the dad kind of laughed and said, "Well, if you know what love is at that age, you know."
Oh, wow.
And I just thought, well, that's really not very nice. They could have just said something nice.
Yeah, like, yeah, he was in love because he was
Yeah,
that age.
exactly.
So,
It may, now whether you agree with their relationship or not, which I'm getting the impression they didn't, or that there was something, I don't know. Did they blame her because he was there? I don't know. But it was just
mm,
a very uncomfortable silence. You know, I don't know.
oh, Lizzo, that is such a good point, though.
You'd
Has
have to
time,
watch the interview because I found it really uncomfortable watching it. It was very uncomfortable viewing.
because when they first started giving the interview, they, talked about how Xana had been on a trip with them before, and that, all this, but it makes you wonder, uh, and maybe it would be a natural process to think, I think maybe I would feel that way. Is my child dead because of the relationship he chose?
Yeah, if you
Because of
hadn't
the
been
people,
there.
right? So I wonder about that. I'm going to try to bring that up really quick. Thank you, Lunch Lady, for putting the copyright disclaimer in. I know Lunch Lady is cooking dinner as well. And yes, she did write a book. And I know they were very adamant. And that is also why Steve kind of tiptoes around talking about Ethan, because they were asked not to mention him anymore, not to speak for Ethan anymore. I don't know. I just think that it's it's I just think that I think the other thing I pull from the mom especially is that there's some kind of, we're going to be strong or be damned. You know what I mean? Like, we have
Yeah,
no choice. Like, suck it up, get through it, and then we got to be strong. And it will be interesting. And not that I want any kind of family drama for anybody, but it will be interesting because these kids are young. What, they're 22 now? Um, in 10 years. I mean, their brains aren't even finished
yeah.
developing, right? Not till they're 25. And Won't it
Well,
be
I do
interesting?
believe that the parents do have a lot of control over them. I mean,
Hmm.
even in that interview, the parents like are butting in on each other, you know, when they're talking and finishing the sentences for each other. It's really strange. And at one point, the dad said, "Oh, Stacey raised 3 good kids." Why would you
Yeah,
say,
how does that work?
yeah, that's really odd. Why would you say Stacey raised 3 good kids? And she corrected him and said, well, we both did. But it's odd. If you watch it, it's a very odd interview.
I'm looking it up right now. And the other thing that I will say is that so when the tulip, all right, you guys know about the tulip farm. How that came about was that the triplets in the summertime, since they were in high school, they would go work at this tulip farm. Now, notice, I don't know. I'm not going to say that part, but anyways, well, I will say that part. Okay, my parents are my dad. You guys know my bio dad is an identical twin. They were put in separate classes on purpose so that they would learn to be individuals, right? Now, that's not to say that they used to switch classes and trick everybody. They did it all the time because they were pranksters. But they also joined the military and they sent them to they made sure to go to 2 different bases so that, you know what I mean? Um, but it just, and everybody I know that has twins, even my niece who's got twins, she made sure that her twins did not go in the same kindergarten class because they have that, twins have that connection of it'd be really easy to just lean on the other one and not make any more friends. You know what I mean? Not be socialized well. Uh Digital Maniac says it's just hard to get over the fact that Ethan had a fight and he and 3 others are murdered hours later. Too much of a coincidence. You mean at Sigma Chi?
Yeah.
I understand that. I understand that. Now I do have some insight to that. Um, if you guys want to hear it. But anyways, the thing that bothered me about the tulip farm was after, and they had worked there for 3 years prior to going to college, so they knew the owners really well. It The Chapins put it out like they're the ones that created the Ethan Smiles. They weren't, you guys. They weren't. It was the owner and his boss his idea that they were creating a tulip because they people who are into those kind of things of flowers and stuff like that, they end up making special flowers. They like marry them together somehow. And, and they wanted to marry the son. It was the son's idea. And he said, Dad, he's like, we need to do something in honor of Ethan. And he was like, can we try to make a tulip, that's called Ethan Smiles? Cause that's what he was always doing is smiling. And his dad said yes. Now I'm sure they had to get permission from the parents, but the parents don't give them any credit. She's just like, we created this foundation in Ethan's name instead of saying,
Yeah.
and I just find that wrong because I struggle to take credit for anything. If I cook the whole damn meal in there, I'm like, somebody brought the eggs, you know. So I don't understand that. But let me look this up really quick. Lizzo, if you want to maybe talk on this, what you have, if you've learned anything about the Sigma Chi Ethan fight that he had there that night,
I
and
don't
if you think
know
that,
much about that, but there's just things that I can't, I can't make it fit. There's things that don't add up. Let me have a look what I've written down. And I did watch an interesting thing. The girl that went on a Tinder date with him and what she
so
had
good, right?
about
And
Kobe, what she said, yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely have to pull that up sometime. That
Yeah.
is just freaky as fuck.
Yeah, he's. I think I'd freak out. I mean, he followed her to the toilet, and she.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Oh
And
dear.
he invited himself basically.
Yeah.
Like she thought he was gonna say goodnight at her door, and he's like, well, can I come in and maybe we could watch a movie together? I'd be like, no, you fucking freak.
I
You ain't
know.
come in here. If I'd have wanted you in here, I'd have invited you. You're lucky I let you walk me to the door.
Yep. I mean, that's
But see, I'm not a nice
freaky as.
person. And then he tells her she has perfect birthing hips. Oh my God.
Oh, I know. Who says that?
Who says that? Oh my God.
So basically saying she's got a fat ass.
You got a fat ass, bitch. All right, let's see if this is the one that Lizzo's talking about.
I think the mum's
video.
wearing black.
I've got a. This is the one. This is the 1 year mark.
Mum's wearing black and dad's in like a grey top.
University of Idaho students were murdered near campus. Their families are finding ways to remember them. Ethan Chapin was one of those students, a triplet born and raised here in Skagit County. And this month, he would have turned 21. I sat down with his parents, Jim and Stacy, to talk about how their family is doing, what comes next, and Stacy Chapin's new book, The Boy Who Wore Blue.
On a beautiful star-filled October night, triplet children were born, and oh, what a sight. 3 healthy babies, what could we say? Such a joyful, amazing, and momentous day. But there was something incredible about that boy who wore blue. His bubbly personality immediately shone through. I just needed people to have the true story of him. For people who know him, it's a little bit of a memoir. And I think for people who don't know him, it's literally the message how Ethan lived his life.
Tell us about him.
Ethan, he was truly one of a kind.
He was
kid.
an exceptional kid from the day he was born.
I mean, he just lived life to the fullest. He kept everybody in check.
And not just because he was 6'4".
No, not because he was 6'4". It's just that there was just a way about him, and he had a good message. You know, his message is just be yourself and have fun and do good for everybody.
You just miss him walking into a room and
Yeah.
giving you a hug and making some funny comment. And he was amazing.
Is there anything that you miss the most?
Hugging him. Oh, I'd give anything. And yeah, that's it. I'd give anything to hug that kid again. In his blue Patagonia, his puffy blue Patagonia coat. Right?
How are you after almost a year?
It's shocking it's been a year. We spent, I call it a period of time, there was about 5 months that I call it the depths of hell. I mean, we went there, we've been there. I think you have to go there in order to start the journey out. That is the process of healing and figuring out how you live your life without this person that's been in it forever. I have a place kind of where Ethan lives in there, and it's a safe spot. You know, for me, but I think overall, under all of these circumstances, I think we're doing well. This thing took one of our kids, but it can't take the rest of us.
I think about Maisie and Hunter a lot because I'm a multiple. And there's a unique, special connection that multiples have that other siblings do not have.
Yeah.
I know that. And so I've thought about them often, having lost a piece of themselves in losing their brother.
Jim and I can sit here and tell you what it feels like to lose a child. I honestly cannot tell you what it must feel like for Maisie and Hunter to lose literally a piece of them. It's profoundly different for them than it is for us.
They came home mid-May after school was out, and they spent all summer at our Idaho home, and both worked. And it seems like they healed a lot during that period of time. It's just going to take time for us all.
when we send our kids off to school, to college, we think it's one of the safest places they could be.
Yes.
I mean, Moscow, Idaho.
Not in your wildest imagination or nightmares even. Could you imagine something like this?
We were at Parents' Weekend the week before. I mean, literally the week before, and just had the best time with the kids. And you would never think that something like this could ever happen.
It was the best
there.
weekend, and we were in the King Street house that weekend. I mean,
We were.
we were like, ah, what a these kids are living their best life.
You put a post on social, you sent it to me, that you spend no time being angry. That would not be energy well spent.
We don't use that word anger.
We can't bring Ethan back. I mean, let's all be honest. Nothing we can do can bring him back. And when you start to feel angry, it literally can take you down a rabbit hole that just isn't a healthy place to be.
So what does justice look like for you in this?
Oh, I have not been asked that question.
The person who is in jail right now, that it's gonna take care of itself. You know, nothing we can do or say or anything is gonna change what's gonna happen to that individual.
You have no plans to even go to the trial, to even be in the courtroom from start to finish?
No, there is no closure. The only closure I have is knowing that my family is good and healthy, and we move on with our lives and do what we were doing prior to this terrible thing that's happened to our family.
It's a choice. You know, you just have to tuck that kid somewhere in there. And I'm thankful for the 20 years we had with him.
Totally.
100%.
So you have a tattoo
I do.
on your arm.
So it's from a note that Ethan wrote me, probably the 4th grade. You know, he just signed it. I love you, Mom.
We are coming back up onto Parents' Weekend and a big birthday for your kids, 21.
21 was something that we talked about forever. Having these triplets turn 21 was going to be the greatest, the greatest night ever. That night cannot take away from Maisie and Hunter. So, Parents' Weekend, it'll be a little bit camouflaged in Parents' Weekend, and then we'll go out and we're going to celebrate Maisie and Hunter. We cannot forget that that's the priority.
Is there anything that you would want to share with parents who've suffered just a horrific loss?
Find something positive in every day. Find something that you feel like brings you joy in a day. There is always something there, no matter how dark the day feels. We found it every single day. He was selfless, caring, generous, and warm. And wherever he went, the friends would all swarm.
We want to pass on his positive energy.
This tale, the story of the boy who wore blue, is a message for everyone, including you.
That's his legacy for you.
That is.
Yeah, it is. Life is short, so give it your best. Be happy, smile, and encourage the rest.
My sincere.
Maybe that's not the one you were talking about.
No, I found it, but it's. I sent you it to your messenger.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if I can find it anywhere else, because it has to be like one of the news channels that did it, but it was a JLR one that I watched.
Yeah, I'd want to do a JLR. I don't know what he would do. Lindley says she's being strong for all of them. She understands that. I guess I just struggle. I can understand a mindset. I can understand. Boy, I'm telling you, Lindley, honey, it does look angry out there. I can understand the mindset of telling your whole family, look, this is the deal. We're going to get through it. I don't know how we're going to get through it, but I can understand that. What I don't understand is how 4 people that live in the same house and all 4 of them have the same mindset at all times. Because I know, and it's different losing your parent than it is your child, because that's the natural order of things, is to lose your parents, not your children. But the closest thing that I've ever lost is my mother. And I'm telling you, my mom had 4 kids, and every one of us kids were way different in the way that we handle things. and anger. My other 3 siblings, we didn't come together and say we're going to get through all this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Lindley. But there are 5 stages of grief, and at some point they may not stay in that stage. They may be in it now, because now the newest one she put out is that they're thinking about somebody needs to go to court, if not all of them, to represent Ethan. So they're getting there. I do believe that somebody's going to be there, at least somebody. But I'm telling you, being pissed is just part of a stage of grief. And if you don't allow yourself that for however long you're going to go through it, then grief is going to last a lot longer, because, oh man, I stayed pissed off. Scroll the fair use ticker. Yes, I will. Thank you so much, Lunch Lady, for reminding me that. Okay, let me do that. And then I have another one, and this is just gonna, let me see what Digital Maniac says. He says, we all know the famous Idaho 4 pic when the trial starts and all the texts between roommates are displayed. I think we'll probably see it wasn't all the peaches and cream with the housemates. Well, I have to kind of agree with that. I mean, especially girls. They're not all going to get along at all times. And just because they're all living together doesn't mean they all have to like each other. So I think that's a probable thing. Yeah. And I mean, at trial, we may find out that some were fighting even during this time, this happened. The next one I'm going to bring up is, and this one isn't as long. I'm going to take this back off. And it just goes over the 911 call again, just to remind us. And then after that, I have one more that I want to talk to you guys about. All right, here's this again. Make sure that this is, yeah, you guys could see it. I wish this picture was bigger, actually, because you could see. So right here is Ethan's truck. So this is this one is, this is Maddie's car, Kaylee's car, and Xana's car. This is Ethan's Jeep. Behind the Jeep, so you've got the tape up. Behind the Jeep is his brother Hunter's Jeep. So that was, they all had to stay there because they were part of a crime scene. So until they were totally dusted over and made sure that it didn't have anything to do with the crime, that's when they were finally released to the parents. And I think it was a good month afterwards that they finally released these to the parents. So this is basically going back over what we saw Steve Goncalves say already, but I wanted to just play this one more time.
911 location of your emergency. Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
Newly released 911 audio revealing the terror, chaos, and confusion inside the house on King Road.
Let me stop this. So this is their house right here, right? This one here, I forgot this little house is I forgot this little house is right here. This is like apartments, not apartments, but bedrooms like this house is the King Road house. On the front of this building is where the camera is. That they heard a thump from. I think they got a camera from here as well, but I'm not sure. But I know it's on this one right here is the one that they say that they hear the dog barking on, and the big thump.
Road, as 4 University of Idaho students were found brutally stabbed to death in 2022.
One of the roommates is passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
That man, according to prosecutors, is Brian Koberger. He's charged with 4 counts of murder in the deaths of Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez.
Is she breathing?
No. 2.5 years later, it's like you got to relive that day all over again.
Kaylee's father says though the call brings back all their pain and anguish, it's critical evidence.
Even though it was terrible for them to go through it, it will help our case.
Since his arrest, Koberger has been held without bail. A judge entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. The murder weapon, believed to be a large fixed blade knife, was never recovered. But police say DNA discovered on a knife sheath found at the home links Koberger to the stabbings. In pretrial motions, the defense trying to poke holes in that theory, suggesting Koberger may have been set up.
I think the most prominent question is, how did that sheath get there?
His attorneys pointing to other unknown male blood found at the crime scene and a 3-person mixture of unidentified DNA found under Mogan's fingernails, with comparison to Koberger inconclusive. Prosecutors now writing in a new filing, the defense plans to argue the knife sheath itself could have been planted by the real perpetrator.
That's the defense that somebody uses as the very last possible scenario. It's the least believable of all of them.
Now, today is the deadline for prosecutors and defense to respond to a flurry of several motions that each has filed, including whether the judge will allow key evidence, including the 911 call and text messages that were sent by the surviving roommates the night of the murders. Koberger's trial is set to begin in August. And as you know, Laura, he faces the death penalty now if convicted.
Lindley says she has her shield up concerning concentrating on Ethan's light and not the darkness that took him, in my humble opinion. Yeah, you are probably right. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't
That or
know.
she's heading for a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, that's true. And it's just like Steve Calvis, and if you look at some of even Christie's all their appearances, I mean, none of them are really boo-hooing on the screen. I think the real mourning part of all of this is going to start after the trial. There's just too much out there. And I will say this. Hi, Joni. I will say this. The court should be ashamed of themselves, both of them. The one in Latah County and the one that we're dealing with now in Ada County. All this gag order and sealing all of these documents is just not necessary. A lot of the negative press that has been given to this case, a lot of suspicion that has been looming over this case, even a lot of crap that the surviving roommates have taken, could have been prevented if there was more transparency. Listen, you're still going to I promise you. I promise you. There are people out there that have never ever heard of this case. Ever. Because they're not like us. They're not watching true crime and just investing themselves in it. Who watches the news these days? Not many, unless you're over the age of, I don't know, whatever. And even then, people have quit watching it. It's just trash. Most people don't even watch TV anymore. They watch whatever they're streaming. They have certain programs they like to watch, and by God, that's all they're watching. So there's plenty of people out there that have never heard of this case, and it was bullshit to seal as much as they did on the premises of we're trying to get a fair jury. I think that's bullshit. Anne's Place, it's midnight. Have you some good rest, girlfriend. Love you. I don't watch TV. I watch YouTube. That's right. And most people do. And listen, even if you're, you watch Netflix or something, we're not watching everything Netflix has to offer us. We find shows, series that we like to watch. We watch the whole damn thing through, and then we're asking around, what's the next series? What's the big thing going on? That's how life is now. Nobody's flipping through ABC, CBS, and NBC. Nobody cares. So, all right, let's do this one because I want to get this one out real quick before my weather gets bad. But I thought this was interesting. Again, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. All right, let's do this one and then we'll get back into it, Lizzo. All right, this is from the Long Crime Network. I really like them because they do kind of short synopsis of things and they have people on that give different views on both sides. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not by now the host may have a bias and you can kind of feel it sometimes, but they at least try to get both things. I mean, I have a bias, but I still respect other people's opinions. Prove me wrong. I'm all about it.
911 location of your emergency. Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
A surviving roommate calls 911 from the house on King Road asking for help, but there's more the transcript didn't pick up. I look at the clues the call reveals. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. Really quick, before we dive into the 911 call, I want to tell you about a new channel that we're launching
Nobody
right here
cares.
at Lawn Crime.
No,
It's called
nobody cares. You're not paying me to do that. No.
Realize that it was much, much worse than that. Xana, Ethan Chapin, Maddie Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves had been stabbed to death. A massive police investigation unfolded, and more than 6 weeks later, Washington State University PhD student Brian Kohberger was arrested and charged with murdering Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana. He faces the possibility of the death penalty if he's convicted. At this point, Kohberger says he didn't commit these crimes. Now back to the 911 call. The phone was passed around quite a bit. The roommates were scared. The call starts with roommate Bethany Funk. 4 people, including the 2 roommates, a neighbor and a friend of Ethan's named Hunter Johnson, all talk to the 911 dispatcher, but there are also things in the background that you can hear only if you listen very closely. So let's listen, and I'm going to put text on the screen for those things in the background.
11:55 a.m. 42 seconds, November 13, 2022.
911 location of your emergency. Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what. What is the address of the emergency? 1122. What is the rest of the address? Oh, Kings Road. Okay. And is that a house or an apartment? It's a house. Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right? I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them. I need someone to repeat the address for verification. The address, 1122 King Road. And what's the phone number that you're calling from? What? 3731. And tell me exactly what's going on. One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Hi, and are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, we gotta go check. But we have to. Is she passed out? What's wrong?
Now, did you hear that? It sounds like a woman in the background is saying, I need to know. And Hunter, the friend of Ethan Chapin's who came over to the house, went up to the second floor of the house and says, Xana, Ethan. And it sounds like he may be knocking on a door. And to be clear, this is what it sounds like to me. The roommate, Dylan, who saw the man in the house, is the one on the phone. And it sounds like she says, please be passed out. And Hunter then says again, Xana, wake up. I'm going to play that portion of the call again.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, we gotta go check. But we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you. What's wrong?
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
I want to tell you about something Kelly has out right
Pay me for that.
closed. Hunter calls for Xana and Ethan and they don't respond. He possibly knocks on that door and says, Xana, wake up. Dylan says what sounds like, please be passed out. Then there's heavy breathing and what sounds like, poor Kaylee. Finally, Hunter says, get out, let's get out. I'm going to pick it up from there.
Now you see that? Now that she's saying again, poor Kaylee, I'm hearing poor Kaylee. What do you say, Lizzo? Are you hearing that?
Well, I heard either warn Kaylee or
Warn Kaylee.
Kaylee or what about Kaylee or something like that. I didn't hear poor Kaylee.
Wow. Okay, let's go.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20 here. Do you want to talk to them?
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
Bethany, Dylan needs you to talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them. They need you to talk to them.
Okay. Hello?
Okay. I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again? There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have one. I think yes.
I think you're muted.
Damn it. Anyways, I wanted to stop it right there because this is what Lizzo was talking about. What we both were talking about. Hi, AJ, welcome. I'm not going to play the whole thing over. I'm going to finish playing this all the way through because I want to hear what Jeanette Levy says. Because it's interesting to hear what other, because that's the first time I've heard poor Kaylee, and now I'm hearing poor Kaylee. But I'll have to count the syllables. But anyways, this is what we're talking about. If you listen to it again, without me talking, without whoever talking, and listen to it again, it makes no sense. Just like Lizzo said, how all of a sudden did we get to a defibrillator? I never thought of that. Why wouldn't she say we're going to start chest compressions?
Yeah.
And so don't you guys think that there's something missing? What American 911 operator is going to immediately go to a defibrillator? Wouldn't they say, all right, do you know how to do CPR? We're going to start. Do you feel any heartbeat? Is she breathing? Is she whatever? And then they start chest compressions. They don't go straight to a defibrillator.
Like, who has a defibrillator?
Right. And not a lot of people, because they're really, really expensive. I mean, even I worked in an adult daycare center. We didn't have one. We couldn't afford it. So why would this house have a defibrillator? These are young people. Why would you? All right, let's finish this up. But y'all listen to that. Just listen to it on your own later or whatever. None of this is making sense. I'm telling you. And Lizzo agrees with me. And we're going to stand on it till trial. There are pieces of this 911 missing. All right, I'm going to mute out again because I'm going to smoke while the rest of this plays.
Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, we have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Now, from what I can gather from the 911 call, it does not sound like Hunter went to the third floor where Kaylee Gonsalves and Maddie Mogan were found dead in Maddie's bed. Kaylee's father, Steve Gonsalves, spoke to News Nation about the audio of the call and what Hunter Johnson told him.
I talked to Hunter directly, and it sucks. He had a broken soul. Like, this is a man who's seen his best friend dead, like dying, like gone. So we exchanged a moment, and I talked to him, and he was trying to protect everyone in that house to not go through what was overwhelming him at the moment. So I don't know about the details of upstairs, downstairs, door open, door not. But in the bigger picture, does it really matter? He was literally just responding to what he probably thought was a prank, thinking his friend, his best buddy, had these girls rolling. And he showed up there, and he seen the opposite of a prank. And I seen it in his eyes. He was broken. He was very broken from what he had seen.
Well, did Hunter tell you that he was able to open the door to Xana's room and witness Xana and Ethan in there?
He told me that he went to the door, and he was trying to go through that door, and he was trying to figure out what was going on in there. It's kind of like what you're hearing with that audio. He announced himself. He said, "Hey, I'm here. What's going on?" But they didn't respond, and he went in there. He seen something.
Steve Gonsalves also talked about dealing with the reality that this even happened in the first place and wanting to protect his family and the survivors.
My emotions are really my children and my wife. So I would say that they feel like they're slowly drowning, and I'm the guy that's trying to help them stay from drowning. And these slow leaks, this torturous process that we're going through, they've done a better job. They've responded to our feedback. We have said, hey, the 911 call is not something that we want to turn on TV and actually see. So they have responded. They have done a better job of, this is a community that doesn't know what murder is. They don't have any clue how to handle, public relations. It just doesn't really exist. So we're getting through it together, and it's hard to say it's getting better, but they are communicating, and we're trying to protect our children and protect all the families and protect the survivors to make sure that we don't have these trolls that are attacking them for no reason.
Steve Gonsalves is referring to people on social media who've questioned whether the surviving roommates had something to do with the murders. They've also been scrutinized for not calling 911 sooner when they were texting about Dylan seeing a man walking through the house, which Bethany didn't seem to believe if you read their texts. The Gonsalveses issued a long statement on Facebook about the 911 call. It reads, "We stand together with all the victims of Idaho, both those we have lost and those who remain forever marked by a tragedy that no passage of time will ever erase. The 911 call, it is not the neatly rehearsed dialogue of a well-crafted story, not the polished performance you might expect from a Hollywood script. No, it is raw. It is jagged, a searing, unvarnished truth that no camera could ever hope to capture. Every breath, every cry, every tremor in the voice reveals a reality so cruel, so brutally honest, it cuts deeper than anything fiction could devise. After hearing that call, one thing is clear. Hunter, with his quiet, stoic resolve, protected those girls from a nightmare that no one should ever be forced to witness. He stepped into the abyss, shielding them from horrors that will haunt him forever. For that, the Gonsalves family owes him a debt that words cannot repay. If you were expecting a neat cinematic conclusion, something palatable, something that offers closure, let me make this clear. The real world does not operate on such terms. The terror of that night cannot be cleanly packaged, wrapped in a bow, or distilled into a simple, digestible narrative. It is ugly. It is painful. It is the kind of horror that shakes you to your deepest core. These were not adults. They were children, still clinging to the fragile threads of innocence when the world was violently torn from them in an instant. In closing, let us face the uncomfortable truth. Had the 911 call been made the moment the accused left that house, it would not have saved anyone. Nothing would have changed. Now, you might be asking yourself, who released the call and why now? Well, we obtained it through a public records request from the 911 call center, Whitcomb. In a letter, Whitcomb lawyers wrote, by way of background, on January 3rd, 2023, prosecution and defense attorneys in the case of State of Idaho v. Brian C. Kohberger filed a stipulation for non-dissemination order. That same day, the Latah County District Court issued a non-dissemination order. On January 18th, 2023, the Latah County District Court amended its January 3rd, 2023 non-dissemination order. The January 3rd, 2023 and January 18th, 2023 non-dissemination orders prohibited the release of public records responsive to your request. So Whitcomb lawyers are saying that this non-dissemination order agreed to by the parties was amended and prohibited the release of the call. And I remember very early in January of 2023, when I was in Moscow, I had been told prior to that the call would be released soon. Then it didn't happen. Whitcomb lawyers also wrote, on January 30th, 2023, Whitcomb 911 filed a declaratory action in Whitman County Superior Court seeking a determination as to whether Whitcomb 911 was required to disclose, pursuant to the PRA, the requested public record in light of the non-dissemination orders issued by the Latah County District Court. That case remains pending. On June 23rd, 2023, the Latah County District Court issued its revised amended non-dissemination order, which clarified the court's position and continued to prohibit the release of the public records responsive to your request. The court further clarified its order on June 23rd, 2023. So Whitcomb felt it still couldn't release the call since that case was pending. But things changed once the transcript of the call was filed with the court in Brian Kohberger's case more than a week ago. On or about March 6, 2025, the Ada County District Court released a transcript of the 911 call recording. We have determined the non-dissemination order, as revised and amended, no longer prevents release of the 911 call recording in its redacted form and consistent with the transcript released by the Ada County District Court.
Muted. Lena, you're muted.
Oh, fuck me. I was so excited about this. You guys were right. Look what it says. We have determined the non-dissemination order as revised and amended is no longer prevents the release of the 911 recording in its redacted form and consistent with transcripts released by the Ada County Court District. You guys, it is redacted.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. All right, you guys, this is Law and Crime. You guys can jump into that and go take a look for yourself. And I didn't see that until I just played it on here, but I knew nothing was making sense. It started, and I got to be honest with you, it didn't start making sense until you started throwing me questions. So I appreciate it. It's good to talk to other people because, I thought I had this shit all figured out. I don't. Something doesn't seem right either way, AJ says. No, of course not. Lindley says, when my husband had a seizure and stopped breathing, a 911 operator did not ask me if I had a defibrillator, but had me do CPR.
Yeah.
AJ says a cardiac arrest would be a defib here in the UK. Well, yeah, but like Lizzo said, who's also from the UK, wouldn't.
We don't have defibs. Who would have a defib?
So wouldn't they just say, let's start CPR? Oh, it just makes so much more. Oh, you sent me the one that says 911 call unredacted yesterday. Somebody said it was unredacted. So is there more to it? Because I am telling you, I think that call is redacted.
Yeah, definitely.
It
just doesn't follow on. In some places, like there's one spot where it goes from loud, the background noise is loud, to straight silent, background. It don't make sense.
Yeah.
It's like there's a chunk missing.
Lunch lady, I will get it and I will play it and then I'll put it on the next one. I just don't think it makes any sense. And if we go off of what Long Crime says right there, and she was showing their emails back and forth, and it said in its redacted form, like what the transcripts were, because we all knew right away the transcripts were redacted. None of that really makes sense. And then we got even more, but it makes I don't understand it. Why redact any of it? Because I mean, and who wanted it redacted? Was it the defense that wanted it redacted, or was it the prosecution who wanted it redacted? If the defense wants it redacted, is it because it's for their case that maybe, somebody else's name was mentioned, or they were talking about someone who was upset with the house or whatever, and they're going to use that? I don't know. I don't understand this. Yeah. What is going on in Utah, Sunshine? Wherever you are, Love Bug. What is happening in your state, Sunshine? Why are you guys giving us all these gag orders there? I understand there was one here in Indiana, the Delphi, but those were 13 and 14-year-old kids. That's a little different. And even I call them kids, but like I said, all of you are kids to me. Because I think I'm older than all of you, except for Miss Barbara. So, and then I'm her kid. So, but the reality is, yes, they think like young people. But if we keep calling them kids, I think we got to be careful of that, because will the court take that into consideration? Because I think as long as they're over the age of 18, we should have an open court. Exactly. Even if all it is the court who only allows their own cameras in there. I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
I mean, we can call them kids, can't we? But you got to remember, I was married at the age of 21. You'd already had children
right
at that point as well. So, no, they're not really kids; they're adults.
That's right. That's right. So I think we got to be careful calling them that. Yeah, they're young and dumb, and you know how it goes. But they aren't without what's right and wrong, and they know what's right and wrong.
They're not that dumb. They're at university.
No, we're not talking about 5-year-olds here that still need their hands held.
Yeah.
J. Brad. Redaction was the phone number. Really? Digital Maniac says, because they were dealing with a college and so many young people, bad things can happen quick. Maybe the defibrillator is something through the college. Now I will say this. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask my baby child. Well, I know he doesn't have a defibrillator in his fraternity house. They don't. But I don't know if they would have one at the college. I wouldn't think so, only because
I mean, she didn't ask if there was a pulse. All she asked was, "Is she breathing?" She didn't
right.
"Is there a pulse?" I mean, that would also determine whether you use a defib or not. So
Oh, wait.
it
What did
doesn't.
I'm sorry, Lizzo.
Go on.
Christine says, "Did you hear the defense release more texts from the 911 call? And Bethany took pics, and Dylan was on all kinds of TikToks and other sites. They were not sleeping. They were making calls the entire time." That makes more sense to me. Uh, Christine, would I find that I have not looked actually at in a couple of days. I haven't looked at the Idaho judicial page where they have everything that goes through the courts there. But I will look. That would be interesting. Took pics of what? Themselves?
Pics of what?
What pics are they talking about, Christine? Thank you for being here, by the way. Lindley says, "We know the defense is asking certain words not to be mentioned during the trial, so they would redact those words, same words for now, wouldn't they?" Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. You're right. They are asking for some words not to be used. You're right. So maybe.
Yeah.
Christine says there's only 3 hours of gap. Nothing is reported or on the phone records, but Bethany had called her parents several times. I wonder if she got through. Oh, it just came out an hour ago. Holy fuckity fuck.
And that was my point. If they were too scared, as they say, to ring police at the time, well, they were okay texting each other or texting other people. So why didn't they text a friend then and say, "You phone, we need police or whatever"?
Yeah, I just something's we're missing a lot. We're missing quite a bit. Jay Brad says, "Did the defense win the motion to exclude the words?" That hasn't been ruled on as far as I know. But I think it's bullshit. Why couldn't you use words? As long as they're not defamatory or being used out of context, because we do know that they don't want what are the words that they don't want used? Shit. They don't want him called a psychopath, or there's two of those words that they don't want used. Well, if he is, if he's been diagnosed with any of those things, then how can you not have it in court? You have to. I don't think so, but wouldn't they hold the redactions until the motion is determined? I would think so. I would think so. Christine said it just came out an hour ago. I will pull it. I'm kind of scared to pull it because I don't know if I could get into a whole thing right now, but Jay Brad said no, they wouldn't until the motion was passed. Lunch Lady says, "I just listened to the unredacted one and it isn't much different at all with a few tiny minor sentences." Well, I can tell you this. We have Koberger discussions on Thursday. I will bring up the new stuff that has been put out today and bring up the unredacted version of the 911 call. Yes, thank you so much, Christine. I appreciate that. There's sunshine. Hi, Leni. I'm resting. Had a procedure yesterday. I'm behind listening, but heard you call for me. The answer is I don't know why they do what they do in my state. Oh, God bless you, son. I had to blame someone, sunshine. And I know that's your state, so I had to call you out. But I wish you well. I hope you heal quickly and that the procedure comes out good and get you lots and lots of rest. Drink some chicken soup. Doesn't say what pics are of, just that she took pics of both girls We're very active. And yes, Bethany did talk to her parents. Her father called back. The fuck? I'm telling you, I know not everybody's like, you can't say what you would do because you weren't there. That's so true. But I'm telling you right now, I would have said, hang up the fucking phone and call 911. I'm on my way. I know for a fact I would have said that. I know
Yeah.
for a fact.
That's what I said, it said that Dylan had spoke to her dad. My first thing would have been get off the phone the police.
Yes, exactly. JB says that she doesn't think they're going to pass that motion of him of them redacting or being able to keep words out of a courthouse. I just don't see. I mean, that I just think that's a little ridiculous. Bushy eyebrow. Yeah, they want to keep that out too. Bushy eyebrow. For the love of God, they want to keep bushy eyebrow, but yet that is an eyewitness testimony. You can't keep that eyewitness's testimony out. Oh, for the love of God. Sociopath. Yes. Christine says, Jules just came out 40 minutes ago. What's Jules? I will be fine. Thank you. Well, we love you, sunshine. We sure do. We don't understand your state, but I'm going to tell you what. I did not like Judge, Judge John Judge over there in Latah County, because I think he had something for the prosecution. I understand. But I dig this judge that y'all got over there now. I mean, how much do you love Hippler? I love it. I'm hip. I'm hip for Hippler just because I think he's a badass and he's no nonsense. And he's like, not in my courtroom. Because that's how I would be. I'd be like, you shut the hell up and you shut the hell up. That doesn't happen here in my courtroom. Thank you very much. See that right there? Judge Leaney, my courtroom. That's what I would say. Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. I cannot wait until we are doing this every day. And that's the whole reason for going over this. We're never going to solve a crime, but maybe we can get a better understanding and sharpen our skills and prepare for what we're going to hear in court. I mean, it would just suck to be watching court and not understand what the hell they're talking about because, we don't follow the case. You like the new judge. I love him. I think he's no nonsense. And those are the kind of judges I really like. I like no nonsense people. Man, if it's true that pics was taken of the murder victim, how beyond shameful. You're right. You're right. And even if they were taking pictures of each other, I mean, could you just see? Come over here, Liz. I'll come sit in my bed. Let's take a selfie together.
Yeah.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, it would.
Jules is a channel. She goes on court docs and facts of the case. She just came out with the info about. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I know who you're talking about now. Okay. So of course we will be back tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Again, same time, same place, same channel. Be there, be square. And I will have all that pulled up. I will have those documents. I'm sure Lizzo will go through the documents, but it's past her bedtime. And I will go through those documents. I will pull up the unredacted version, supposedly, of the 911 tape. And then we will discuss all that tomorrow on our Thursday. Her name is, Christine, can you go ahead and tell us what the name of the channels? It's Jules of
something trades, is it, Jules?
Jules of something. Jules of true crime, Jules of something like that. Christine, do you mind letting us know what it is? Absolutely don't mind dropping her channel. Now, I know that I think Jules believes Brian to be innocent. If I think she believes Brian's being railroaded. And a lot of people do. And you know what? It's I mean, it's your right to think whatever you want to. I guess what really matters is what the 12 jurors think. But Jules of all trades, there it is. There it is. She's a lot younger than me, but and she does do a lot of I remember when I first came to YouTube, you know, and I was traveling the YouTube true crime streets, and she was one of the ones that I had stopped over in as well. But anyways, we're going to end this one early. It's only been 2 hours, I know, but we have some bad weather coming in, and I want to be prepared for that. I want to find out where all of my children are in this beautiful state of Indiana, because I know one of them is up there closer. One of them is in Illinois, and one of them is closer to the border of Illinois. And I need to find out where my brother is, because he is also close to the border of Illinois. So I need to check on my family and make sure we are all put together. Lizzo, Roxy Casbah,
Yeah.
I appreciate your work on this with me. And Maggie, we appreciate it so much. And I hope you will continue throwing me stuff, continue racking my brain, and continue coming up and giving me something else to think of.
Yep, we'll do. Stay
All
safe.
right. Love you so much.
Yep, love you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, that is it for another one of these. I appreciate you guys being here with me on this one. Appreciate those even in the bushes and people that are new here that come out just maybe only to see this part of our lives. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. I was going to say something and it just left me, and that's the part I hate about getting old. You just check the Weather Channel. It don't look good. Yeah, that's what Lindley just said. So let me shoot a shout out to my Indiana folk. I know Lindley's in Indiana. I'm in Indiana. Diamond Lucidity is in Indiana. I think there's one more that doesn't frequent here all the time. But y'all keep all those in the line of these tornadoes in your thoughts and prayers, and I'm sure all of us will appreciate it so much. Thanks for being here. I hope to see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, and we'll go over all the new stuff that came out. Right now, I'm going to go as soon as I check on my family, I'm going to go jump into it and try to figure out what I can figure out. Christine, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing us that news. If somebody wants to drop Jules' link, you're welcome to do that. If you want to drop your link, I'd appreciate it so much if the mods would drop all of the channel, friends of the channel's links as well, while we do our outro. So if you guys don't mind, can we start dropping links and go ahead and drop Jules as well? Christine, tell her Leanie said hey, and that we dropped her channel over here. All right, guys, I love you. You guys be good or be good at it. If you can't be good at it, you know the drill. Take video because I need some content. Love you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.